Congratulations on getting started with Proclaim. Proclaim brings together professional design, automation, and team collaboration to help you create professional-grade presentations with ease. Creating a basic Proclaim presentation from scratch really is as easy as 1, 2, 3, go. 1. Create announcement slides. 2. Create song slides. 3. Create sermon slides. And finally, go, as in go on air. Since displaying rotating announcements can be a really effective way to communicate, let's start by creating our opening announcement slides. We'll begin by picking out an appropriate welcome screen as our first slide. Then we'll add a more traditional announcement slide and search for an appropriate background. Notice how Proclaim automatically filters our available backgrounds so that only slides designed for announcements display. Proclaim now prompts us to provide common announcement details. If we don't need or want a field, we can just leave it blank. Let's add a few other announcement slides. One about a children's activity this Friday, and one about an upcoming leadership meeting. Finally, we'll add one of thousands of professionally designed pieces of verse art. Since our teaching pastor is speaking on Psalm 100, let's use this motion graphic of Psalm 103. As we begin to build our presentation, notice that Proclaim divides our service into 4 sections: pre-service loop, warm-up, service, and post-service loop. These divisions let Proclaim really start working for us by automating much of our work. The key is to set our service time. It'll act as the anchor point for the entire presentation. The first section, the pre-service loop, is a good place for our announcement slides. It will continue to cycle through until it's time to start the warm-up section. Think of the warm-up section as the visual cue to our church that the service is about to begin. It plays through one time right before the service. We can include things here like our welcome slide from above and a countdown timer to the start of our service. Proclaim will automatically move from the pre-service loop to the warm-up section at just the right time so that our first service slide will display on the screen at 11 a.m. exactly. The service section is just what it sounds like. It's the slide you would typically display during your service. Our service begins with a song, so let's start there. If you've ever fumbled around trying to find old song slides or spent time copying and pasting song lyrics, you're going to love song slides in Proclaim. As soon as we begin to title our song, a drop-down menu appears. Here's how simple it is to add songs in Proclaim. We just select the song we want to use, and that's it. Each verse gets its own slide, and when we add a background, the text transforms so our content is readable and elegant. If we prefer our song slides with less text, we can just hit the return key and watch Proclaim adjust our slides. We can even set our own custom verse order in the verse bar. You'll never have to copy and paste lyrics again. As we start to add a second song, notice that we can also link a Song Select account. Any songs from Song Select will now show in the drop-down menu as well. In just a few seconds, we've added a couple of songs to our presentation. Best of all, every change we make saves to the cloud. Because our Proclaim subscription covers everyone on our team and has no install limits, each team member can work where they feel most comfortable, whether Mac or PC, and know that they're viewing the most up-to-date presentation. Our service section will also include sermon slides. You can add sermon slides in a couple of ways. First, you can import PowerPoint or Keynote slides as static images from the Add Item menu. But when you build your sermon slides within Proclaim, you can take full advantage of the native design helps and custom animations. Just like with our announcement backgrounds, we can search for sermon slides to find the perfect fit. Let's add this sermon title slide and provide a strong title, subtitle, and the scripture passage. You can also start the process of adding slides from the Add Item menu, like we did with our songs. As we fill our slide with content, we may want to have subpoints reveal one at a time. If so, just select the points and add transitions. To make these transitions obvious for anyone running the presentation, Proclaim shows each transition as a new slide, just like you'd normally expect to see in presentation mode. Next, let's add a Bible slide to keep the biblical text before the congregation. To finish out our sermon, we'll add one final content slide. As we begin adding points, notice how additional slides are generated. If we aren't happy with these slide breaks, we can tell Proclaim where to place them with a click. The final section of our service is the post-service loop. It works just like the pre-service loop, except that it indefinitely cycles through until we stop the presentation manually. Let's copy down the announcements from above so they display again after the service. Of course, we won't copy down the welcome slide, since the post-service loop will play as people are leaving. Congrats! We're ready for the last step, going on air. Because we told Proclaim when our service begins, we can just go on air when we first arrive at the church building. The pre-service loop will continue to cycle through until 10:58 and 50 seconds, 1 minute and 10 seconds before the service section. The warm-up section will play through once, and then right at 11 a.m., the first slide of Amazing Grace will appear on the screen. Once we're in the service section, we'll manually navigate through the slides with a mouse by clicking the arrows, or with the keyboard by using the directional arrows. Our sermon slides display just how we'd expect, each subpoint revealing as we click. As we reach our final sermon content slide and click one final time, Proclaim moves to the final section, the post-service loop. We'll just let the post-service loop cycle through until people are leaving and we feel it's the right time to stop our presentation. We can do this with the escape key or by deselecting on air to end the presentation. We believe creating church presentations should be intuitively simple, elegant, and collaborative. While we've only scratched the surface of Proclaim's abilities, you can already see that creating professional-grade presentations is both easy and delightful.